Welcome, compassionate souls. Ready to step into your power without tipping into ego land? Today's two-group tarot reading is all about finding that sweet spot. The kind of confidence that feels grounded, magnetic, and totally authentic. Whether you're rebuilding your self-worth, learning to trust yourself again, or just wanting to glow up your energy without becoming that person, this reading is here to hype you up in the healthiest way. In this reading, we explore the difference between confidence and ego, and where you sit right now, what's blocking your natural self-assurance, how to step into your power without overcompensating, the energy you radiate when you're aligned, what your guides want you to embody next. This reading is fun, honest, and full of gentle real talk. Think of it as your cosmic pep talk, supportive, uplifting, and ego-free. But remember, what came through today was lovingly revealed by compassionate deities, your spirit guide, the angels, and the universe, all working together to offer you insight and clarity. Please remember, this reading is for entertainment purposes only. Life is always changing, and your path is shaped by your choices, actions, and the intentions you set. Nothing is set in stone, and your free will is your greatest power. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and above all, stay kind to yourself. Thank you for being here. Before we begin, I want to say something that might seem obvious, but it truly matters and it deserves to be said clearly. Any guidance you hear in this reading should never be used to justify harm, cruelty, manipulation, violence, or abuse of any kind. I absolutely do not condone that. This reading is meant to support healthy choices, emotional growth, and kind outcomes for everyone involved. If you ever find yourself in a situation where the advice you hear feels unsafe, unhealthy, or harmful, please step back and seek professional support. Your well-being and the well-being of others always comes first. Group 1. Your cards are painting a very human, very relatable story about confidence, self-perception, and the quiet fears that shape how you show up in the world. What's coming through isn't just about becoming confident. It's about becoming confident in a way that feels grounded, authentic, and safe for you. This isn't the kind of confidence that tries to dominate a room or prove anything to anyone. It's the kind that grows from understanding yourself, trusting your inner compass, and letting your presence speak without force. And the cards are showing that you've been walking a long road with this. You've had moments where you've doubted yourself, moments where you've held back, and moments where you've wondered whether stepping into your power might somehow make you too much. But the message here is that your confidence is meant to be a quiet flame, not a wildfire. It's meant to warm you and guide you, not burn anything down. The Moon upright is the first card in your spread, and this tells me that your relationship with confidence has been shaped by uncertainty, self-doubt, and a tendency to question your own instincts. The Moon is not a card of weakness. It's a card of sensitivity, intuition, and depth. But it also speaks to the parts of you that have been shaped by fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being judged, fear of stepping forward and being seen in a way that feels vulnerable. You may have grown up or lived in environments where confidence was either punished, mocked, or misunderstood. You may have seen people who were confident in unhealthy ways, people who were loud, domineering, or self-absorbed, and you may have internalized the idea that confidence equals ego. So you learned to dim yourself. You learned to stay quiet. You learned to second-guess your instincts because you didn't want to become what you disliked in others. And The moon shows that you've been navigating this inner landscape for a long time, trying to figure out how to trust yourself without becoming someone you don't want to be. The Page of Wands reversed deepens this story. This card shows that you've had sparks of inspiration, moments where you felt ready to step forward, moments where you wanted to express yourself boldly or try something new, but something inside you hesitated. The reversed Page of Wands often represents a fear of being seen as inexperienced, foolish, or naive. It's that feeling of wanting to take a step, but worrying that you'll trip. It's the voice that says, "What if I'm not ready? What if I embarrass myself? What if people think I'm trying too hard?" And because of that, you may have held back your ideas, your creativity, your leadership, or your natural enthusiasm. You may have dimmed your spark because you didn't want anyone to think you were showing off. You may have swallowed your excitement because you didn't want to be judged. And over time, this created a pattern where you learned to silence yourself before anyone else had the chance to. But then we see the Eight of Swords reversed, and this is where things begin to shift. This card shows that you're starting to break out of those old mental traps. You're beginning to see that the cage you thought you were in was never locked. You're realizing that the fears that held you back were internal, not external. You're starting to understand that confidence doesn't mean becoming someone else. It means becoming more of who you already are. The reversed Eight of Swords is the moment where you take off the blindfold and realize that the world isn't as threatening as you thought. It's the moment where you realize that your voice matters, your ideas matter, your presence matters. And you're beginning to see that you can step forward without stepping on anyone. You can shine without overshadowing anyone. You can be confident without being egotistical. This is the card of liberation, and it shows that you're already on your way. The Knight of Pentacles reverse shows where the struggle still lingers. This card speaks to inconsistency, self-doubt that comes in waves, and a tendency to lose momentum when you start doubting yourself again. You may have moments where you feel strong and grounded, and then suddenly you pull back. You may start a project or a goal with enthusiasm, but then you worry about whether you're doing it right, whether you're good enough, whether you're allowed to take up space. The reverse Knight of Pentacles can also show a fear of responsibility, not because you're incapable, but because you're afraid of what it means to be seen as capable. You may worry that if you step into your confidence, people will expect more from you. You may worry that if you show your strengths, you'll have to maintain them perfectly, and that pressure can make you freeze. But this card is reminding you that confidence isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about showing up even when you're unsure. It's about trusting that you can learn as you go. And it's about understanding that confidence grows through action, not through waiting for the perfect moment. Then we arrive at the King of Wands upright, and this is the heart of your reading. This is the version of confidence you're meant to embody. The King of Wands is confident, but not egotistical. He leads, but he doesn't dominate. He inspires, but he doesn't demand. His confidence comes from clarity, purpose, and self-trust, not from needing validation or control. This card shows that your natural confidence is meant to be warm, steady, and quietly powerful. You're not meant to be the loudest person in the room. You're meant to be the person whose presence speaks for itself. You're meant to lead by example, not by force. You're meant to inspire others simply by being yourself. And the King of Wands shows that when you step into your confidence, you won't become arrogant or self-absorbed. You'll become grounded, passionate, and purposeful. You'll become someone who knows their worth without needing to prove it. You'll become someone who can take up space without taking space away from others. This is the kind of confidence that feels safe, both for you and for the people around you. The Seven of Pentacles reversed shows the final piece of the puzzle. This card speaks to impatience, frustration, and the feeling that your growth isn't happening fast enough. You may have moments where you feel like you're doing all this inner work but not seeing results. You may feel like you're trying to build confidence but still slipping into old patterns. You may feel like you're planting seeds but not seeing anything grow. And this card is reminding you that confidence is not a sudden transformation. It's a slow cultivation. It's something that grows through repetition, through small choices, through gentle self-corrections. The reverse Seven of Pentacles also shows that you may be judging yourself too harshly. You may be expecting yourself to be confident overnight, or to never doubt yourself again, or to suddenly become someone who never hesitates. But confidence doesn't work like that. It grows in layers. It grows through practice. It grows through compassion. And this card is reminding you to be patient with yourself. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're growing in exactly the way you're meant to. Now, let's talk about how to build confidence without slipping into ego, because your cards are giving a very clear roadmap. The moon shows that your confidence must begin with self-understanding. You need to know your fears, your triggers, your insecurities, and your strengths. You need to understand where your self-doubt comes from so you can separate your intuition from your fear. When you know yourself deeply, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to perform confidence. You simply embody it. The Page of Wands reversed shows that you need to give yourself permission to be a beginner sometimes. Confidence doesn't mean knowing everything. It means being willing to learn. It means being willing to try. It means being willing to take imperfect steps. When you allow yourself to be curious instead of perfect, your confidence becomes playful instead of pressured. The Eight of Swords reversed shows that you need to challenge the stories you tell yourself. When you catch yourself thinking that you're not good enough, not ready, or not allowed to shine, pause and ask yourself whether that thought is based on truth or fear. Most of the time, it's fear. And when you gently challenge those thoughts, you begin to free yourself from them. The Knight of Pentacles reversed shows that you need to build confidence through small, consistent actions. You don't need to make huge leaps. You don't need to transform overnight. You just need to show up for yourself in small ways, again and again. Confidence grows when you keep promises to yourself. It grows when you take small steps even when you're unsure. It grows when you practice being visible in ways that feel safe. And the King of Wands shows that your confidence becomes healthy when it's rooted in purpose. When you know why you're doing something, you don't need external validation. When you're aligned with your values, you don't need to compare yourself to others. When you're focused on your path, you don't need to worry about how you're perceived. Confidence becomes ego only when it's disconnected from purpose. But when your confidence is connected to your heart, your integrity, and your vision, it becomes a force for good. It becomes something that uplifts you and everyone around you. The Seven of Pentacles reversed shows that you need to release the pressure to grow quickly. Confidence is not a performance. It's not something you achieve. It's something you cultivate. And it grows best when you're patient with yourself. When you allow yourself to grow slowly, your confidence becomes stable instead of fragile. It becomes rooted instead of reactive. It becomes something you can rely on, not something you have to maintain. And this is how you avoid ego. Ego is loud, impatient, and hungry for validation. True confidence is quiet, patient, and rooted in self-trust. Ego needs to be seen. Confidence simply exists. Ego needs to win. Confidence needs to grow. Ego compares. Confidence focuses. Ego demands. Confidence expresses. Ego fears being wrong. Confidence is willing to learn. Ego is rigid. Confidence is flexible. Ego is threatened by others. Confidence is inspired by others. And your cards show that you are naturally aligned with the second path. You're not someone who wants to dominate or control. You're someone who wants to understand, grow, and express yourself authentically. You're someone who wants to shine without overshadowing anyone. And that is exactly why you're capable of building confidence without slipping into ego. They're also showing that your confidence will grow when you allow yourself to be supported. You don't have to do everything alone. You don't have to carry everything by yourself. You don't have to figure everything out in isolation. Your guides are encouraging you to let people in, to let yourself be seen, to let yourself be helped. Confidence grows when you feel safe, and you're allowed to create that safety through connection. They're also reminding you that confidence grows when you honor your boundaries. You don't need to say yes to everything. You don't need to please everyone. You don't need to be available to everyone. When you honor your boundaries, you honor your worth. And when you honor your worth, your confidence grows naturally. Your guides are also showing that confidence grows when you celebrate your progress. You don't need to wait until you've achieved something big. Celebrate the small steps. Celebrate the moments where you spoke up. Celebrate the moments where you tried something new. Celebrate the moments where you trusted yourself. These small celebrations build confidence from the inside out. And finally, your guides want you to know that confidence is not something you need to earn. It's something you already have. It's something that lives inside you. It's something that grows when you stop hiding from yourself. You don't need to become someone else to be confident. You just need to become more of who you already are. Group 1. Your reading is showing that you are on a powerful journey of self-trust, self-expression, and inner strength. You're learning to step into your confidence in a way that feels authentic, grounded, and safe. You're learning to trust your intuition, honor your purpose, and release the fears that have held you back. You're learning to shine without fear of overshadowing anyone. You're learning to lead without ego. And you're learning to grow at your own pace. Your confidence is not meant to be loud. It's meant to be steady. It's meant to be warm. It's meant to be rooted in who you truly are. And you're already becoming that version of yourself. There is another layer to your journey that the cards want to explore, and it has to do with the way you've learned to navigate the world through observation rather than assertion. You're someone who watches people carefully. You notice the subtleties in their tone, their body language, their energy. You pick up on the things they don't say. And because of that, you've developed a kind of emotional intelligence that many people never cultivate. But this sensitivity has also made you cautious. You've seen how people react to confidence when it's expressed in unhealthy ways. You've seen how ego can distort relationships, how arrogance can create distance, how self-importance can make someone blind to the needs of others. And because you're so perceptive, you've internalized these observations deeply. You've told yourself that you never want to be like that. You never want to be the person who takes up too much space, who speaks over others, who assumes they're always right. And while this awareness is a strength, it has also made you hesitant to step into your own power. You've been so focused on avoiding ego that you've accidentally avoided confidence too. But the cards are showing that your natural temperament already protects you from becoming egotistical. The moon shows that you're introspective. The Page of Wands reversed shows that you're cautious. The Knight of Pentacles reversed shows that you're humble. The Seven of Pentacles reversed shows that you're patient. And the King of Wands shows that your leadership style is rooted in inspiration, not domination. You're not someone who would ever use confidence to overpower others. You're someone who would use confidence to uplift others. You're someone who would use confidence to create space, not take it away. And this is why your guides are encouraging you to step forward more boldly. They're showing that your fear of becoming egotistical is unnecessary. You're already aligned with humility. You're already aligned with compassion. You're already aligned with self-awareness. What you need now is permission to trust yourself. Permission to speak. Permission to shine. Permission to take up space in a way that feels natural to you. There's also a message here about redefining what confidence means to you. For a long time, you may have associated confidence with loudness, assertiveness, or extroversion. You may have believed that confident people are the ones who speak first, who take charge, who stand in the spotlight. But your cards are showing that confidence can look very different. Confidence can be quiet. Confidence can be thoughtful. Confidence can be gentle. Confidence can be expressed through presence rather than performance. The King of Wands in your reading is not the kind of leader who shouts orders or demands attention. He's the kind of leader who walks into a room and brings a sense of clarity, direction, and warmth. People follow him not because he forces them to, but because they trust him. They trust his vision. They trust his steadiness. They trust his integrity. And this is the kind of confidence you're meant to embody. You're not meant to be loud. You're meant to be clear. You're not meant to dominate. You're meant to guide. You're not meant to perform. You're meant to be present. Your guides are also showing that part of your journey involves healing the parts of you that were taught to shrink. There may have been times in your life when you were told to be quiet, to be polite, to not make a fuss, to not draw attention to yourself. You may have been praised for being easygoing, agreeable, or low maintenance. And while these qualities can be beautiful, they can also become masks. They can become ways of hiding your needs, your desires, your opinions, and your strengths. The moon shows that you've internalized some of these messages deeply. You've learned to question yourself before you speak. You've learned to soften your voice. You've learned to make yourself smaller so others feel comfortable. But your guides are showing that this shrinking has come at a cost. It has made you doubt your instincts. It has made you silence your ideas. It has made you hold back your natural fire. And the King of Wands is here to remind you that your fire is not dangerous. It's necessary. It's part of who you are. It's part of your purpose. There's also a message here about the difference between confidence and certainty. Many people confuse the two. They think that being confident means being absolutely sure of themselves at all times. But that's not true. Confidence is not the absence of doubt. It's the willingness to move forward even when doubt is present. It's the willingness to trust yourself even when you don't have all the answers. It's the willingness to take a step even when the path isn't fully clear. The moon shows that you're someone who feels deeply, who senses things intuitively, who navigates through subtle emotional landscapes. And because of that, you may have believed that you need to wait until you feel completely certain before you act. But the cards are showing that your confidence will grow when you allow yourself to act even when you're unsure. When you allow yourself to try. When you allow yourself to learn through experience rather than waiting for perfect clarity. The Eight of Swords reversed shows that you're beginning to understand this. You're beginning to see that the cage you thought you were in was made of hesitation, not reality. And you're beginning to step out of it. Another layer of this reading has to do with how you relate to responsibility. The Knight of Pentacles reversed shows that you may have a complicated relationship with responsibility. On one hand, you're reliable, thoughtful, and conscientious. You care deeply about doing things well. You care about being dependable. You care about not letting people down. But on the other hand, you may fear the weight of responsibility. You may worry that if you step into your confidence, people will expect more from you. You may worry that if you show your strengths, you'll be held to a higher standard. You may worry that if you take on a leadership role, you'll have to maintain it perfectly. And this fear can make you hesitate. It can make you hold back. It can make you avoid opportunities that you're fully capable of handling. But the King of Wands is here to remind you that leadership doesn't mean carrying everything alone. It doesn't mean being perfect. It doesn't mean having all the answers. It means being willing to show up. It means being willing to guide. It means being willing to trust yourself. And your guides are showing that you're ready for this. You're ready to step into a version of yourself that is more visible, more expressive, and more empowered. There's also a message here about the way you handle praise and recognition. You may be someone who feels uncomfortable when people compliment you. You may brush it off, downplay it, or redirect the attention. You may feel awkward when people acknowledge your strengths. And this is because you've learned to associate attention with pressure. You've learned to associate visibility with vulnerability. You've learned to associate recognition with expectation. But your guides are showing that accepting praise is part of building healthy confidence. When someone acknowledges your strengths, they're not placing a burden on you. They're reflecting something true about you. And when you allow yourself to receive that reflection, your confidence grows. It becomes rooted in reality rather than fear. It becomes grounded in truth rather than insecurity. And this is how you build confidence without slipping into ego. Ego seeks praise. Confidence receives it. Ego demands recognition. Confidence accepts it. Ego inflates. Confidence integrates. Another important message coming through is about comparison. The moon shows that you're sensitive to the energy of others, and because of that, you may sometimes compare yourself to people who seem more confident, more outspoken, or more accomplished. You may look at others and think they're ahead of you, or that they're doing things you should be doing, or that they're more deserving of success. But the cards are showing that comparison is one of the biggest obstacles to your confidence. When you compare yourself to others, you disconnect from your own path. You disconnect from your own timing. You disconnect from your own strengths. The Seven of Pentacles reversed shows that you may sometimes feel impatient with your progress because you're measuring it against someone else's timeline. But your guides are reminding you that your journey is unique. Your growth is unfolding in the way that's right for you. And when you stop comparing yourself to others, your confidence will grow naturally. It will grow from within rather than being shaped by external standards. There's also a message here about reclaiming your voice. The Page of Wands reverse shows that you've had moments where you wanted to speak up but held back. Moments where you had ideas but didn't share them. Moments where you felt excitement but suppressed it. And your guides are showing that your voice is one of your greatest tools for building confidence. When you speak your truth, even in small ways, you strengthen your sense of self. When you express your ideas, even if they're imperfect, you affirm your worth. When you allow yourself to be heard, you step into your power. And this doesn't mean you need to be loud or forceful. It means you need to be honest. It means you need to be present. It means you need to trust that your voice matters. Because it does. Another layer of this reading has to do with the way you handle mistakes. The moon shows that you may be someone who overthinks your missteps, who replays conversations in your mind, who worries about how you came across. You may hold yourself to very high standards, and when you fall short of them, you may feel embarrassed or disappointed. But the cards are showing that mistakes are essential to building confidence. Confidence doesn't grow from perfection. It grows from resilience. It grows from learning. It grows from trying again. The Eight of Swords reverse shows that you're beginning to release the fear of making mistakes. You're beginning to understand that mistakes don't define you. They refine you. They teach you. They strengthen you. And when you allow yourself to make mistakes without shame, your confidence becomes unshakable. It becomes rooted in self-acceptance rather than self-judgment. Your guides are also showing that part of your journey involves learning to trust your desires. The moon shows that you have deep inner longings, dreams, and visions that you may not always express. You may keep them hidden because you're afraid of being judged, or because you're afraid of failing, or because you're afraid of wanting too much. But your desires are not random. They're not frivolous. They're not unrealistic. They're messages from your soul. They're invitations. They're guidance. And when you honor your desires, your confidence grows. It grows because you're aligning with your truth. It grows because you're listening to yourself. It grows because you're allowing yourself to want what you want without apology. And this is one of the most powerful ways to build confidence without slipping into ego. Ego wants things to prove something. Confidence wants things because they're aligned with your purpose. There's also a message here about embodiment. Confidence is not just a mindset, it's a physical experience. It lives in your posture, your breath, your presence. The Knight of Pentacles reversed shows that you may sometimes disconnect from your body when you feel unsure. You may shrink your posture, lower your voice, or make yourself physically smaller. But your guides are showing that when you inhabit your body fully, your confidence strengthens. When you stand tall, when you breathe deeply, when you ground yourself, you send a message to your nervous system that you are safe. And when you feel safe, you feel confident. This is not about performing confidence. It's about embodying it. It's about letting your body support your inner strength. It's about letting your presence reflect your truth. Another important message coming through is about boundaries. Confidence grows when you protect your energy. When you say no to things that drain you. When you say yes to things that nourish you. When you choose relationships that support you. When you release relationships that diminish you. The moon shows that you're sensitive to the emotions of others, and because of that, you may sometimes absorb their expectations, their projections, or their insecurities. But your guides are showing that boundaries are essential to building healthy confidence. When you protect your energy, you protect your clarity. When you protect your clarity, you protect your purpose. And when you protect your purpose, your confidence becomes unshakable. There's also a message here about redefining success. The Seven of Pentacles reversed shows that you may sometimes feel frustrated when your progress doesn't match your expectations. You may feel like you're not moving fast enough, or not achieving enough, or not growing enough. But your guides are showing that success is not measured by speed. It's measured by alignment. It's measured by authenticity. It's measured by the degree to which you're living in harmony with your truth. And when you redefine success in this way, your confidence grows. It grows because you're no longer chasing external validation. It grows because you're no longer measuring yourself against unrealistic standards. It grows because you're honoring your own rhythm. Your guides also want to talk about the role of joy in building confidence. Joy is not frivolous. It's not a distraction. It's a source of strength. When you allow yourself to experience joy, you reconnect with your vitality. You reconnect with your creativity. You reconnect with your inner fire. And this fire fuels your confidence. The Page of Wands reverse shows that you may have suppressed your joy at times because you didn't want to seem childish, naive, or overly enthusiastic. But your guides are showing that your joy is one of your greatest gifts. It's part of your magic. It's part of your purpose. And when you allow yourself to feel joy without self-consciousness, your confidence becomes radiant. Another layer of this reading has to do with trust. Confidence is built on trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in your path. Trust in your timing. Trust in your intuition. Trust in your resilience. The moon shows that you've had moments where your trust wavered. Moments where you doubted your instincts. Moments where you questioned your direction. But the Eight of Swords reversed shows that you're beginning to rebuild that trust. You're beginning to see that your intuition has always been guiding you. You're beginning to see that your path has always been unfolding in the right way. You're beginning to see that your timing has always been aligned with your growth. And when you trust yourself, your confidence becomes effortless. It becomes natural. It becomes part of who you are. Your guides are also showing that confidence grows when you allow yourself to be seen in your authenticity. Not the polished version of you. Not the version of you that tries to meet expectations. Not the version of you that hides your imperfections. The real you. The you who feels deeply. The you who cares deeply. The you who dreams deeply. The you who is still learning, still growing, still becoming. When you allow yourself to be seen in this way, your confidence becomes rooted in truth. It becomes rooted in self-acceptance. It becomes rooted in love. And this is the kind of confidence that never becomes ego. Ego is a mask. Confidence is authenticity. Ego is performance. Confidence is presence. Ego is fragile. Confidence is resilient. Your guides want to leave you with one final message. They're showing that your confidence is not something you need to chase. It's something you need to uncover. It's already inside you. It's been there all along. It's been waiting for you to stop doubting yourself. It's been waiting for you to stop shrinking. It's been waiting for you to stop comparing yourself to others. It's been waiting for you to trust your voice, your intuition, your purpose, and your path. And they want you to know that you are ready. You are ready to step into your confidence. You are ready to express yourself. You are ready to be seen. You are ready to lead. You are ready to grow. You are ready to shine. And you can do all of this without ever slipping into ego, because your heart is already aligned with humility, compassion, and truth. Your journey is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more of who you already are. And who you are is someone with a quiet strength, a deep wisdom, a warm presence, and a powerful purpose. Your confidence is not meant to be loud. It's meant to be steady. It's meant to be grounded. It's meant to be authentic. And it's meant to guide you into the next chapter of your life with clarity, courage, and grace. Thank you for being here. Before we begin, I want to say something that might seem obvious, but it truly matters and it deserves to be said clearly. Any guidance you hear in this reading should never be used to justify harm, cruelty, manipulation, violence, or abuse of any kind. I absolutely do not condone that. This reading is meant to support healthy choices, emotional growth, and kind outcomes for everyone involved. If you ever find yourself in a situation where the advice you hear feels unsafe, unhealthy, or harmful, please step back and seek professional support. Your well-being and the well-being of others always comes first. Group 2, let's get straight into it because the energy around you right now is calling for a shift that you can feel in your bones. This isn't a gentle nudge or a subtle whisper. This is a moment where life is asking you to rise, to step forward, and to stop holding yourself back from the version of you that you know you're capable of becoming. You've been standing on the edge of your own potential for a long time, and whether you realize it or not, you've been waiting for permission to finally step into your confidence. This reading is that permission. Not because the cards are telling you who to be, but because they're reflecting back the truth you've been carrying inside you all along. You chose this group because something in you is tired of shrinking. Something in you is tired of second-guessing yourself. Something in you is tired of worrying about how you'll be perceived if you finally let yourself shine. You're not here to learn how to become confident. You're here to remember that you already are. What you're learning now is how to express that confidence without feeling like you're crossing into ego, arrogance, or self-importance. You're learning how to stand tall without stepping on anyone else's toes. You're learning how to take up space without taking space away from others. And most importantly, you're learning how to trust yourself enough to stop apologizing for your own strength. The first card that comes through for you is the Eight of Pentacles reversed, and this is where the story begins. This card shows that you've been doubting your abilities, not because you lack skill or talent, but because you've been holding yourself to an impossible standard. You've been telling yourself that you need to be perfect before you're allowed to feel confident. You've been telling yourself that you need to master everything before you're allowed to step forward. You've been telling yourself that you need to earn the right to believe in yourself. But the truth is, confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from participation. It comes from showing up. It comes from trying, learning, adjusting, and growing. The Eight of Pentacles reversed is showing that you've been stuck in a cycle of self-criticism. You've been focusing on what you haven't done yet instead of acknowledging everything you've already accomplished. You've been minimizing your progress because you think it's not enough. You've been comparing yourself to people who are further along, forgetting that they once stood exactly where you are now. This card is reminding you that confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build by taking action even when you don't feel ready. It's something you cultivate by trusting that your effort matters, even when you can't see the results yet. What's been holding you back isn't a lack of ability. It's a lack of self-recognition. You've been working hard, but you haven't been giving yourself credit. You've been improving, but you haven't been acknowledging your growth. You've been showing up, but you've been telling yourself it's not enough. This card is asking you to shift your perspective. Instead of focusing on what you haven't mastered, start recognizing what you've already learned. Instead of waiting for perfection, start celebrating progress. Instead of doubting your worth, start honoring your effort. Confidence grows when you stop dismissing your own achievements. Then we move into the Lover's upright, and this is where things start to open up. The Lovers is a card of alignment, authenticity, and choosing the version of yourself that feels true. This card is telling you that confidence, without ego, comes from living in alignment with your values. When you're grounded in who you are, when you're acting from a place of honesty and integrity, confidence becomes a natural expression of your inner truth. Ego is loud because it's insecure. Confidence is steady because it's rooted in clarity. The Lovers is asking you to choose yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a self-honoring way. You've spent so much time worrying about how others will perceive you that you've forgotten to ask how you perceive yourself. You've been trying to avoid being seen as arrogant, but in the process, you've been dimming your own light. This card is reminding you that you don't need to shrink to be humble. You don't need to hide to be kind. You don't need to silence yourself to be considerate. True humility is not about making yourself small. It's about knowing your worth without needing to broadcast it. The Lovers also speaks to relationships, and it suggests that part of your fear around confidence comes from past experiences where you were misunderstood, judged, or criticized for expressing yourself. Maybe someone made you feel like you were too much. Maybe someone made you feel like your confidence was threatening. Maybe someone projected their insecurities onto you. Whatever the case, you internalized the idea that being confident is dangerous. But the Lovers is here to help you rewrite that story. The people who are meant for you will celebrate your confidence, not resent it. They will feel inspired by your growth, not intimidated by it. They will see your heart, not your ego. Next, we have the Ten of Wands upright, and this card reveals the emotional weight you've been carrying. You've been trying to do everything perfectly. You've been trying to avoid mistakes. You've been trying to manage how others perceive you. You've been trying to carry responsibilities that aren't even yours.
And it's exhausting.
The Ten of Wands shows that you've been taking on too much both externally and internally. You've been carrying the burden of other people's expectations, real or imagined. You've been carrying the burden of proving yourself. You've been carrying the burden of avoiding judgment. And all of that weight has been blocking your confidence. The Ten of Wands is asking you to put some of that weight down. You don't need to carry everything alone. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to manage everyone's opinions. You don't need to prove anything. Confidence doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing what matters. It comes from choosing your priorities. It comes from releasing what drains you. It comes from trusting that you don't need to earn your worth through effort. You are already worthy. This card is also showing that you've been pushing yourself to the point of burnout. You've been trying so hard to avoid being seen as egotistical that you've been overcompensating by taking on too much. You've been trying to show that you're hardworking, humble, and dedicated, but in the process, you've been neglecting your own needs. The Ten of Wands is reminding you that confidence requires energy. You can't step into your power if you're exhausted. You can't shine if you're drained. You can't grow if you're overwhelmed. It's time to release the burdens that aren't yours. Then we move into the High Priestess upright, and this is where your reading becomes deeply empowering. The High Priestess is the embodiment of inner wisdom, intuition, and quiet confidence. She doesn't need to prove anything. She doesn't need to perform. She doesn't need to convince. Her power comes from within. This card is showing you that your path to confidence is not about becoming louder or more assertive. It's about becoming more attuned to your inner truth. When you trust yourself, when you listen to your intuition, when you honor your inner voice, confidence becomes a natural extension of your self-awareness. The High Priestess is reminding you that confidence doesn't always look like boldness. Sometimes it looks like calmness. Sometimes it looks like clarity. Sometimes it looks like choosing not to engage in drama. Sometimes it looks like knowing your worth without needing to announce it. This card is inviting you to redefine confidence on your own terms. You don't need to mimic anyone else's version of confidence. You don't need to adopt a persona that doesn't feel natural. Your confidence can be soft, intuitive, grounded, and deeply authentic. The High Priestess is also showing that you already know what you need to do. You already know what's been holding you back. You already know what you're capable of. You already know the difference between confidence and ego. You've always known. You just haven't trusted yourself enough to act on that knowing. This card is asking you to trust yourself more deeply, to listen to your intuition, to honor your inner wisdom, to stop doubting what you feel. Confidence grows when you trust your own voice. Then we have the Four of Swords upright, and this card brings a message of rest, reflection, and mental clarity. You've been carrying so much pressure, so much responsibility, so much fear of judgment, that you haven't given yourself space to breathe. The Four of Swords is asking you to pause,
To rest.
to reflect, to give yourself time to heal. Confidence grows in stillness. It grows when you step back from the noise of the world and reconnect with your inner truth. It grows when you allow yourself to rest without guilt. The Four of Swords is also showing that you've been pushing yourself too hard. You've been trying to force growth instead of allowing it. You've been trying to rush your progress instead of trusting the process. You've been trying to control everything instead of surrendering to what feels right. This card is reminding you that rest is not a setback. It's a strategy. When you rest, you create space for clarity. When you rest, you create space for self-compassion. When you rest, you create space for confidence to rise naturally. Finally, we have the Chariot reversed, and this card ties everything together. Upright, the Chariot is about control, determination, and forward movement. Reversed, it shows that you've been feeling stuck, unsure of your direction, or disconnected from your sense of purpose. You may have been trying to push yourself forward without feeling grounded, or you may have been holding back because you're afraid of moving in the wrong direction. The Chariot reversed is telling you that confidence without ego comes from releasing the need to control everything. It comes from trusting the process. It comes from trusting yourself. It comes from trusting that you don't need to have all the answers right now. This card is also showing that you've been trying to force yourself into a version of confidence that doesn't feel natural. Maybe you've been comparing yourself to people who are louder, more assertive, or more outwardly bold, and you've been thinking that you need to be like them in order to be confident. But the Chariot reversed is reminding you that your path is your own. You don't need to adopt someone else's style. You don't need to push yourself into a mold that doesn't fit. Confidence comes from authenticity, not imitation. The Chariot reversed is also showing that you've been trying to move forward without feeling fully connected to your direction. You've had moments where you felt motivated, moments where you felt inspired, moments where you felt ready to take action, but then something inside you pulled back. It wasn't laziness. It wasn't lack of ambition. It was fear. Fear of being judged. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of being seen as too confident, too bold, too self-assured. You've been afraid that stepping into your power will somehow push people away. But the truth is, the people who are meant to walk with you will walk with you no matter how brightly you shine. The Chariot reversed is reminding you that confidence doesn't require force. It requires direction. It requires intention. It requires clarity. You don't need to push yourself into confidence. You need to guide yourself into it. You need to choose it. You need to allow it. You need to trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. Confidence is not about controlling the outcome. It's about trusting your ability to navigate whatever comes. Now that we've moved through the cards, let's talk about what all of this means for you in a practical, grounded, motivational way. Because this reading isn't just about understanding your blocks. It's about breaking through them. It's about stepping into a version of yourself that feels powerful, aligned, and free. It's about learning how to embody confidence without slipping into ego. And the truth is, you're already halfway there. You're already aware of your fears. You're already aware of your patterns. You're already aware of your potential. What you're learning now is how to trust yourself enough to step into that potential fully. Confidence without ego begins with intention. If your intention is to be authentic, to be kind, to be honest, and to be true to yourself, then your confidence will naturally reflect those qualities. Ego comes from insecurity. Confidence comes from clarity. Ego needs validation. Confidence needs alignment. Ego is defensive. Confidence is open. Ego is rigid. Confidence is flexible. Ego is afraid of being wrong. Confidence is willing to learn. You don't need to fear becoming egotistical because you're already aware of the difference. People who operate from ego don't question whether they're being egotistical.
They don't reflect.
They don't self-evaluate. They don't worry about how their actions affect others. The fact that you're even asking how to be confident without being egotistical shows that your heart is in the right place. You're not at risk of becoming arrogant. You're at risk of staying small. Your journey now is about expansion. It's about allowing yourself to grow without apologizing for it. It's about trusting that your growth doesn't harm anyone. It inspires them. It uplifts them. It gives them permission to grow too. When you step into your confidence, you don't take anything away from others. You show them what's possible. You show them what it looks like to honor your potential. You show them what it looks like to rise. Confidence, without ego, also comes from self-awareness. When you know your strengths, you don't need to exaggerate them. When you know your weaknesses, you don't need to hide them. When you know your values, you don't need to justify them. When you know your intentions, you don't need to defend them. Self-awareness creates balance. It creates grounding. It creates clarity. It creates a foundation for confidence that is steady, authentic, and unshakable. You've been afraid that if you become confident, people will think you're full of yourself. But the truth is, people already see your potential. They already see your strength. They already see your talent. They already see your heart. You're the only one who hasn't fully stepped into that vision yet. You're the only one who's been holding back. You're the only one who's been dimming your own light. It's time to stop hiding. It's time to stop shrinking. It's time to stop apologizing for who you are. Confidence without ego also comes from understanding that you don't need to be perfect to be worthy. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need to know every answer. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be willing. Willing to try. Willing to learn. Willing to grow. Willing to show up. Willing to trust yourself. A confidence is not a destination. It's a practice. It's a choice you make every day. It's a relationship you build with yourself over time. You've been carrying the weight of other people's expectations for too long. You've been trying to be everything for everyone. You've been trying to avoid disappointing anyone. You've been trying to avoid being misunderstood. But in the process, you've been disappointing yourself. You've been misunderstanding yourself. You've been neglecting your own needs. It's time to release that weight. It's time to put down the burdens that aren't yours. It's time to choose yourself. Confidence, without ego, also comes from boundaries. When you know what you stand for, you don't need to defend it aggressively. You simply live it. When you know what you will and won't accept, you don't need to justify it. You simply honor it. Boundaries create safety. They create clarity. They create space for confidence to grow. When you have strong boundaries, you don't need to prove anything. You simply exist in alignment with your truth. You've been afraid that stepping into your confidence will make you seem selfish. But the truth is, confidence is not selfish. It's self-respect. It's self-trust. It's self-honoring. It's acknowledging your worth without diminishing anyone else's. It's recognizing your potential without needing to compare yourself to others. It's choosing to grow without needing permission. Confidence is not about being better than anyone. It's about being better than your past self. Now, let's talk about your spirit guides, because they've been waiting patiently to step in with their message for you. Their energy comes through with warmth, strength, and a deep sense of encouragement. They want you to know that you are not alone in this journey. They've been walking with you through every moment of doubt, every moment of hesitation, every moment of self-criticism. They've been guiding you, supporting you, and whispering to you even when you couldn't hear them clearly. Your guides want you to know that you are safe to grow. You are safe to expand. You are safe to step into your power. They want you to release the fear of being seen. They want you to release the fear of being judged. They want you to release the fear of being misunderstood. They want you to trust that your heart will always keep you grounded. They want you to trust that your intentions are pure. They want you to trust that your confidence will never turn into ego because your soul is too aware, too compassionate, too connected to ever lose itself in arrogance. Your guides are reminding you that your humility is already woven into your spirit. You don't need to fear becoming egotistical because your heart is naturally balanced. You are someone who reflects, who cares, who considers, who listens. You are someone who values connection, authenticity, and integrity. You are someone who wants to uplift others, not overshadow them. Your guides want you to know that your confidence will not harm anyone. It will help them. It will inspire them. It will show them what it looks like to rise with grace. They also want you to know that confidence is not something you need to force. It's something you allow. It's something you grow into. It's something you embody when you stop doubting yourself. They want you to trust your intuition more deeply. They want you to listen to your inner voice. They want you to honor your truth. They want you to stop silencing yourself. They want you to stop shrinking. They want you to stop apologizing for your own strength. Your guides are also reminding you that rest is part of confidence. Reflection is part of confidence. Healing is part of confidence. You don't need to rush. You don't need to push. You don't need to force. You just need to keep choosing yourself. You just need to keep showing up. You just need to keep trusting your path. Confidence grows when you honor your needs. It grows when you listen to your body. It grows when you give yourself space to breathe. They want you to know that you are worthy of confidence. You are worthy of self-trust. You are worthy of taking up space. You are worthy of being seen, heard, and valued. You are worthy of stepping into your power. You are worthy of becoming the version of yourself that you've always envisioned. You don't need to earn that worth. You already carry it within you. Your guides want you to remember that confidence is not about being loud. It's about being clear. It's not about being dominant. It's about being aligned. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's not about being fearless. It's about being willing. They want you to know that you are ready. You are capable. You are strong. You are growing. You are rising. And you are stepping into a chapter of your life where confidence becomes your natural state.
This is your time.
This is your moment. This is your turning point. You are not becoming someone new. You are becoming more of who you truly are. You are shedding the fears that kept you small. You are releasing the doubts that held you back. You are stepping into a version of yourself that feels powerful, grounded, and free. You are learning how to embody confidence without ego, and you are doing it with grace, intention, and authenticity. Your guides are with you every step of the way. They are supporting you, guiding you, and reminding you that your confidence is not something you need to fear. It's something you need to embrace. It's time to rise. It's time to trust yourself. It's time to step into your power. It's time to let your confidence shine.